So all we need to think about when we want to create inner harmony, inner peace, and a harmony between our mind and our soul is to recognize that underneath we are as we were born to be, and there is nothing wrong, and our mind got led astray. So all we need to do is bring our mind back into alignment so that we can feel coherent and one. What happens is if your mind gets carried off into unloving beliefs, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not worthy enough, I'm not deserving, I'm missing something, I'm unsafe, I don't belong, your mind has created a conflict inside of you that does not match the truth of who you are, and it will create stress, anxiety, tension in your body. It will create all sorts of mental and emotional imbalances, and then it starts to permeate into your physical body, creates physical imbalances because your body has to hold all of that discordance, and so it starts to show up in your physical body as well. So it's a really beautiful thing to just see that, oh, my mind has been led astray. What is the real problem? My mind has been led astray. My mind has started to believe in and live from and perpetuate and concrete and ingrain perspectives about myself in this world that cause me to be in disharmony inside of me. So when we know this, we don't need to do anything about our soul, because our soul is just awesome and wonderful, our spirit essence. So to bring your mind back into alignment and into harmony with your soulful self, we need to learn a really important life skill. It's one of the most important life skills that you can ever have in your toolkit for life, and no one teaches it to us. You're listening to Practical Spirituality with B, the podcast with spiritual advice for your everyday life, helping you align with your soul so you can live with purpose, fulfillment, and magic. I'm Bernadette Logue. You can call me B, and I'm excited to share this episode with you. Hello and welcome to this podcast episode where we're going to be talking about creating harmony between your mind and your soul. Why do we want that? Because we want to have inner peace. We want to have joy. And when we don't have harmony between our mind and our soul, what do we have? We have disharmony. And disharmony feels like misalignment, discordance, conflict, disruption happening internally. And when that happens, it does not matter how good things are on the outside. If we don't have harmony on the inside, it doesn't work, which is why you can change so many things in your outer life, change jobs, change locations, change houses, change anything else you want to do out there, change the way you look, change the way you dress, whatever it is, wrap it up in a bow. It doesn't make any difference if there is a conflict going on inside of you where your mind and your soul are not in alignment. So in this episode, we're going to talk all about that. Before we dive into it, I'm loving just like having more personal chat time with you and more personal connection with you. So if you've been in my community for a while, you'll know I've been a lot more active on my Instagram and on my YouTube and doing shorts and all the good things and posting stories and sharing more with you, which I used to do a long time ago as I travel around the world. I'm a nomad, so I live in lots of different places. And I thought I'd just start this episode. If you're here on video with me, then you'll be able to see. If you're not and you're listening on audio, you're going to have to imagine or go to YouTube. But I am tuning in today from New Zealand. So this is my home country. I've been gone for 3.5 years, most recently. And I am currently at my mum and dad's house. And it is so beautiful. So on video, you can see this is my dad's beautiful garden, completely lush green. And probably once I produce this video and audio, you won't be able to hear it, but there is beautiful bird song, like native New Zealand birds, and they're so loud and so symphonic. It's really beautiful to be here and to be listening to them. And I thought also, I've already told Dad, I'm making a podcast, Dad, so you're going to make a guest appearance if you come wandering through the garden. But I thought I would just also show you these beautiful roses before we start talking about harmony of your mind and soul. These are called my Nana's roses. And I thought I shared this with my Soul Odyssey group the other day. And I thought I'd just share with you because it's so gorgeous. My Nana, who passed away almost 20 years ago, she had a beautiful rose bush in her garden, which produced these roses. And when she passed, the aunties and all the cousins took cuttings and they all planted the cuttings in their own gardens. So everyone's got a Nana's rose bush in their gardens. And I was at my cousin's visiting and she gave me beautiful roses to bring back to me, with me to where I'm staying at the moment. And my mum's got a big, beautiful Nana's rose bush. So how glorious is that if we take a moment to stop and smell the roses? So often in life, we're all focusing on our goals, outcomes, and what we're wanting to heal and change and resolve. So it's nice to take a moment just to soak in the beautiful flowers, the beautiful bird song, and this glorious green setting that we're connecting in today. So, harmony of your mind and your soul. I want you to think about this. There's only one way to do it, because you can't bring your soul into alignment with your mind. Why? Because your soul is the authentic truth of who you are and you cannot change it. So if we want to create harmony between your soul and your mind has to be the one to budge. Someone has to come to the party and change, and it ain't going to be your soul. It is going to be your mind that changes. Okay, so when I use the word soul, to make it a lot easier for you to connect with, I just want you to think about it like this. The true, authentic essence of who you are, the free spirit that you are, the true, authentic, intuitive essence that is in you, versus the mind noise, okay? So when the mind gets quiet and we are in joy and harmony and peace, that's the true you. Well, that is the soulful you, okay? So if we want to have harmony between the two, it's not like we're going to have the two come together. Your soul is not going to budge because your soul is absolutely, purely, authentically clean, clear, peaceful, joyous, and is here for a ride called life and does not need to change, because there is nothing about your soul that needs changing. Your soul is divine, whole, complete, good enough, worthy, deserving, all of the beautiful things, connected with the divine intelligence of life. It is the life force that flows through you. So we don't need to find it, change it, do anything to that. What we have to understand is that we incarnated into this 3D world called Earth when we were born, and we popped into these bodies. And our mind has a job, and our mind has a job to keep us safe and keep us alive. And its other job is to make sense of everything that's going on. And so through your education, upbringing, your experiences, and the things that you've been exposed to over your life today, you have made up your mind about all sorts of things, about how to be safe, how to be good, what everything means. And you've accumulated a lot of mind conditioning. And inside your mind conditioning are unsoulful and unloving perspectives, things like limiting beliefs, fears, and expectations, and they have carried you away from your authentic, peaceful, harmonic, soulful self. So all we need to think about when we want to create inner harmony, inner peace, and a harmony between our mind and our soul is to recognize that underneath we are as we were born to be, and there is nothing wrong, and our mind got led astray. So all we need to do is bring our mind back into alignment so that we can feel coherent and one. What happens is if your mind gets carried off into unloving beliefs, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not worthy enough, I'm not deserving, I'm missing something, I'm unsafe, I don't belong, your mind has created a conflict inside of you that does not match the truth of who you are, and it will create stress, anxiety, tension in your body. It will create all sorts of mental and emotional imbalances, and then it starts to permeate into your physical body, creates physical imbalances, because your body has to hold all of that discordance, and so it starts to show up in your physical body as well. So it's a really beautiful thing to just see that, oh, my mind has been led astray. What is the real problem? My mind has been led astray. My mind has started to believe in and live from and perpetuate and concrete and ingrain perspectives about myself in this world that cause me to be in disharmony inside of me. So When we know this, we don't need to do anything about our soul, because our soul is just awesome and wonderful, our spirit essence. So to bring your mind back into alignment and into harmony with your soulful self, we need to learn a really important life skill. It's one of the most important life skills that you can ever have in your toolkit for life, and no one teaches it to us. No one teaches it to us in school. Most of us don't get taught it growing up. And here it is: how to provide loving leadership to yourself, loving leadership to your mind, to lead it home to the truth of who you are. Your mind is not going to come home on its own. It is invested in beliefs that it has picked up because of things people have said to you, things people did to you, messages that have been ingrained and soaked into you since the day you were born, before you were old enough to know any better. So someone has to come in to interrupt the equation. And the person that needs to come in to interrupt that pattern, to bring your mind back, is you, and only you. The reason is because you're the only one there at 2 o'clock in the morning when you wake up in the middle of the night and your mind starts running catastrophes and anxiety and fear and negative messages. You are the only one there in the situation when there is conflict inside yourself or conflict in your life, and you have to decide how you're going to create inner peace and harmony for yourself. It is only ever going to come about because you have learned to provide loving leadership to yourself, to lead and guide your mind like you would lead and guide a child that you love, that you would lead and guide anyone you love, to come home to a peaceful and harmonic truth that will allow you to feel one inside. Now, think about it like this. If your soul is the truth and then your mind is somewhere else, then what's happened is a split has occurred. There is a split off in our psyche, a split off in our mind, a split off in our emotional system, and to some degree a split off inside our physical self, where we had the truth when we were born and we are this free-spirited essence with peaceful perspective, and then we pick up all of these things that don't serve us, limiting beliefs and fears, expectations, doubts, all of this weighty baggage, and our mind splits off in a different direction. Our emotional system splits off into unease and fear and fight flight. So we are collecting all parts of ourselves and bringing us back to one centered home truth. Now, I'm going to give you 3 different steps to help you create this harmony between your soul and your mind. Step number 1 is this. There are 3 things that are going on for you at a soulful level. And if your mind is doing something else and not honoring these 3 things about your soulful self, you will have lack of inner peace and you will have disharmony. It's just flat out, full stop, fact. Okay, here are the 3 things. 1, intuition. If your mind goes against your intuition and your mind takes you down other tracks and your mind rejects your intuition and tells a story and has all these limiting beliefs, and your intuition gets ignored, you will not have harmony within. Because your soulful self, which gives you intuition, it is your intuition, that is the truth of you. And when you are off in some other direction, off on a tangent, you will feel split inside because you're not in alignment with yourself. The second soulful self aspect within that you want to be in alignment with are your values. You have very specific heart-led values that you are a real stand for, things that really matter to you, that have meaning to you. And these are not random, okay? So some of the exercises that I do with people, including in my Soul Odyssey program, are around values identification. If you don't live in alignment with your values, you will feel at conflict with yourself. That's because you're living a life that is not true to you. If you have a certain value and your way of living, your way of being, your lifestyle, your job, the way you treat yourself, the way you treat other people, whatever it is a conflict to that, how can you possibly have peace? And it's actually not difficult to identify how these rifts and disharmony and lack of peace come about when you look at things like this and you say, well, here are my values and here's my intuition. What is my life displaying? Is my life a display of my intuition, and is my life a display of my values? Or is it, in fact, in contrast, in conflict to those things? And of course, then I am going to notice that disruption show up in a lot of different ways. Okay. And then the third thing is, beyond our intuition and our values, is like a little group that I'll call your yearnings, your desires, your passions, and your inspirations. It's the soulful you that is trying to create in the world, wants to experience and be and do and generate and contribute and all these beautiful things playfully. And if you ignore those things and your mind says, not important, that's a silly idea, you wouldn't be good enough at that, we don't have time for that, who do you think you are? And your mind takes you off down some robotic, rational, logical path where you deny your yearnings, desires, inspirations, and your passions, you will have disharmony, full stop. Because you don't choose your intuition, you don't choose your values, and you don't choose your desires, yearnings, passions, and inspirations. Those are your soul speaking to you. And if you don't align to that, you will have disharmony. So how do we create harmony? Bring all those other parts of yourself home, your mind and emotional system, bring it home to what matters to you. Listen to your intuition, listen to your values, and live by your values. Be courageous to make the changes in your life that you need to make to live values aligned. Listen to your desires and your yearnings and your passions and your inspirations, and know that those are life-giving for you. When you align to those, it is what brings juice to your life, synchronicity to your life, magic to your life, miracles to your life. It is not a thing to do one day when you get time. It is the thing to do. And people often say, but I can't do that because I'm busy. I need to take care of my kids. I need to, I can't just give up my job. I need to make a living. I can't go off and just do whatever I feel like. And to that I say, yes, of course. Of course, we're not talking about that. We're not saying just willy-nilly go off and do whatever you want and ignore your life. But we're saying this. There is no point in time in your life where you can't be soul aligned. Because God created divinity universe does not work like that. You did not get sent forth into life and be told, hey, there'll be years on end where you won't be able to be aligned to your soul and to the truth. So good luck with that. No, we say, I am super busy with my kids and I have a job and I need to maintain that because that's the income, and we live in a 3D world where I need to do things to earn money to pay my bills. Beautiful. And inside of that, listen to your intuition. And inside of that, be a stand for your values. And inside of that, find any which way that you can, in any small way, to honor at least one of your yearnings, desires, passions, or inspirations. And what I've found from coaching people for like 12 years is that for most people, when they have a desire, passion, yearning, inspiration, there is a way to bring life to it right where they stand right now. Maybe not fully, but to start. Maybe not in the way they think it should happen, but a way that is available to them right now. And so we get creative and we get out of our mind noise about everything, which often is self-sabotage, or what really is self-protection. We stop ourselves because the stories we come up with that stop us being soul-aligned, we say we can't, but what those things really are is self-protection, because it takes courage. It takes going into the unknown. It takes going outside your comfort zone. It takes having trust in yourself, having faith in yourself, having some faith and courage and confidence in life itself. And it's going to push your buttons. And so that's the reason. It's easier to default and to live inside your mind and to live inside society's norms than it is to do what I'm talking about, which is be intuitive, be values aligned, be heart-led, be soul aligned. And find a way and say, I am willing to find any which way I can, even the smallest way, that I can be and do those things where I stand no matter what. And no one else can do it for you. I'd love to be able to do it for you, but I can't do it for you. You have to do it for yourself. Other people can guide us and lead us and help us find the way. But the soul journey that you're on, P.S. your life is a soul journey, the 11-stage soul journey that you are on is here and designed for you because your soul came to learn, grow, heal, evolve, contribute. And so that doesn't happen in stagnancy, and it doesn't happen inside a comfort zone. It happens when you stand up. and you do something, go somewhere, be someone beyond who you have been before. You break the shell and crumble the shell of old conditioning, and you stand into, this is what I know to be true about me, for me, from me, where I want to go, what I want to do in this world, knowing my life is not forever. Okay, so that was the first step. How do I align my mind with my soul? You need to know those 3 things that your soul is about and bring your mind into harmony with those 3 things. Live and breathe those 3 things. The second step is become aware of what is ill at ease in your mind that is unsoulful and unloving, and proactively clear that gunk away. Okay, so limiting beliefs, fears, and expectations that keep you small and stuck, that do not reflect the divine nature of who you are, that have been ingrained and bred into you, most often before you're old enough to know any different. Okay, and the way you do that is you pay really close attention to what do you believe and what do you think. Because your mind is programmed like a little computer, and it plays it back to you all day long. What you believe about yourself, about your body, about health, about healing, about money, about opportunity, about everything. Relationships, opportunity, career, business. Literally everything that you believe and think is playing out in your mind as thought patterns. It's coming out of your mouth when you speak to other people. It's coming up when you react to life and other people and situations in the world, because it is your paradigm through which you are interacting with life. And I can't say enough how important it is, if you want to live a soulful life, a soul-aligned life, you want to know the truth of who you are and live as this beautiful connected being, cosmic being, connected to divine mind, with life force flowing freely through you. And for you to know that you lived your life fully, is you have to clean up your mind, because your mind gets filled with so much stuff. It's just absorbing it all the time. And our job as consciously aware adults is to go, who am I? Why am I here? And what is the actual truth of reality? And let me shed anything that is not that from this beautiful real estate between my 2 ears, so that I may be free. Because when I am free, my soul is free. And when my soul is free, life force gets to flow freely. I get to be an extension of God, creator, divinity, source. I get to be a contribution. I get to have full health, full wellness, full joy. Yeah, because this noise in the mind is not getting in the way. So there are steps to go through for you to heal your mind, right? There's lots of different modalities all over the world. I have my own way inside the Soul Odyssey mentorship, where I take people through a process to do that. People go to therapy and do CBT. People do all sorts of things to heal what it is ill at ease in their mind. If you're interested in working with me for that, I'm going to open Soul Odyssey, the mentorship, live support and community, early in 2025. So you can go to bernadettelogue.com/waitlist to join the priority waitlist. You'll be the first to be notified when we open the doors, and you can jump in early for that when it comes about. So inside that, it's about understanding what is going on in my mind. What do I actually believe, fear, and expect that has got me out of alignment with my soul, that has me have suffering, lack of peace, disharmony, psychological, emotional, physical conflict inside, and it does not feel good, and it ain't working for me. And then when you understand what that is, we go about a methodical process to start to train your mind. How? Loving leadership to train your mind out of this old toxicity that is unloving and unsoulful, and bring you home to your beautiful, already existing soulful self. We're not teaching you something you don't know. It's remembering who you really are and what is true about reality. Your soul knows that. It's not forgotten. It's our mind has been led astray. Okay, so we're just coming home. And then the third step is, when we understand this, we're like, okay, this is my soulful self, and this is what is true, my intuitive, values aligned, desires, yearnings. I feel it inside of me and I know it. I've brought my mind home. Then we start living from that position. We start living with the soulful self in the driver's seat of our life. We start to make choices, and we start to behave, and we start to act, attract, and interact with other people in the world around us from that position. So that is who is driving the car of our life, not our mind. Because what's often happening is this: the mind is running riot and making decisions. Fear is making decisions. Limiting beliefs are making decisions. Your soulful self is sitting in the back seat going, hang on a minute, what about me? While you decide XYZ is more important out of fear, your soul is crying in the back seat saying, but don't forget, we actually really love XYZ over here. And actually, we really feel like we need rest, or we need rejuvenation, or we need more color and joy in our life. Meanwhile, your mind is like, that's not important. We don't care about that. We're over here. And we have a split, right? And so what we're doing is we're bringing you into inner alignment and harmony, and then have you live from that position of harmony. And it is all about you sorting out your mind. Because when your mind is filled with soul-aligned beliefs and you live from that position, you are supporting yourself. You say, this is what's important to me, and your mind goes, great, let's do that. And you know what it is that you feel a yearning for, or your intuition is nudging you for, and your mind says, perfect, great. Now, why does it say that? Because you trained it to. You trained it like a tool to support the direction you want to take in your life. You trained it to trust you, not trust advertising or the news or some random person or other people who are trying to tell you what is true and what to do. You don't do that. Inside my Mind Mastery, inside Soul Odyssey, we have a saying, and it is, I tell my mind what is true and what to do. My mind is listening to me. It's listening to me 24/7. I consistently and repetitively tell my mind what is true and what to do. Your mind wants a leader, and if you don't provide it leadership, it's going to look for a leader somewhere else. And it's going to look around you to who seems like they know what they're doing. And because fear is in society and fear is inside many people's bodies, they will latch onto someone else to lead them. And that ain't going to work for you, because your soul didn't come here to be led around like a sheep in somebody else's agenda. You came to be your vibrant, quirky, weird, awesome, colourful, unique self, and to rock your own path and do your thing. And nobody knows what that is for you. Only you know. And when we clear the noise of your mind, you will start to feel it and you'll start to know it. So, in summary, for you to have inner peace and harmony inside of yourself, for you to create harmony between your soulful self and this beautiful tool that is your mind, it's all about learning how to provide loving leadership to your mind and bring it home to the truth of who you are. And it's just a methodical step-by-step process, okay? I hope this has been helpful, and it's showing you that there is a beautiful pathway, and it's very practical actually. We can use things like your values alignment exercises to help put this all together for you. Please do, if you're interested in help with this, go to bernadettelogue.com/waitlist to join the waitlist for the Soul Odyssey Mentorship Program Live Support and Community when we open that up again in early 2025. If you are listening to this at the time it's released and you don't want to wait for that, and you, instead of being in that group environment, want to work with me privately to rapidly transform that and lead you through it really quickly, you are welcome to reach out to me at support@bernadettelogue.com, support@bernadettelogue.com, and just put in the subject line coaching, and I will send you information about private coaching sessions with me that I have available in the month of December and January for how I can help you. And what we'll do is we'll do just this that I'm talking about. We'll get you soul aligned, we'll sort out your mind, we'll bring it home to the truth of who you are, get you set up to live the next year ahead from a whole different soul aligned, harmonic position in your life. It changes everything. It's been massive for me and the people I work with, and it'll be my pleasure to guide you through that. Thank you for tuning in for this episode. Welcome to this beautiful place in New Zealand with me, and I'll see you next week for the next episode in the Practical Spirituality with Bee podcast. I send much love to you. Thanks for listening to Practical Spirituality with Bee. I'll talk to you next episode for more spiritual advice for your everyday life, helping you align with your soul so you can live with purpose, fulfillment, and magic.